What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about maintenance and particularly the drivetrain. So I'm going to show you what I do every 2 weeks on my bicycle, which is a full drivetrain clean. And basically what I'll do is I'll walk you through the steps of cleaning your drivetrain, what products to use and how to lubricate your chain correctly. So let's take a look at some of the items that I love to use when I am cleaning my drivetrain. So this is one of my favorites, Makoff. You can use a drivetrain cleaner as well, but I find that Makoff, if you maintain it every 2 weeks, is more than sufficient. This is great for cleaning the frame as well on the bicycle. If I've been riding with wet lube on my bicycle, what I like to use is a degreaser. I use a bike cut degreaser which I got at Halfords. This one smells really great and it's not so corrosive like some of the other ones out there on the market. I've got some microfiber towels, and then I've also got a brush which I'll use to scrub the drivetrain and also the chain itself. And then what I also like to use is a small bucket. You can see this one's got a lot of oil on there. I use it for my lower leg surfaces on my forks, but I use this now to catch most of the grease and dirt which is going to run off of my drivetrain. Now I live in a flat, and this is for all the people who can't get it into their bike out into a garage or into the garden where they've got access to a hose pipe. This is maintenance from a flat basically. So moving on to the drivetrain, this is my e-bike, a Voodoo Zoobop, which I use as my daily commuter. As you can see, I've got Supermoto X tires on there. Majority of the time I do use wet lube on this, as you can see, because the weather's been not all that great. But as you can see on the actual chain itself, it does start collecting a lot of dirt and debris, and that's the kind of stuff that you want to get off of your chain to keep it running smoothly. So the chain at the moment is really sticky and grimy, so if you look underneath there, I'll just touch it on there, you can see how much dirt's on there. That's the kind of stuff that you want to get off of there. It causes friction, you'll lose a loss of power and your drivetrain. You'll see a reduction in performance of your e-bike, in my case, and also your bike will feel kind of sluggish. So before I start, what I normally do is, this is for everyone who do not have a quick link in their chain. So I actually do have a quick link in my chain just over there, which I can remove the chain completely off of my bike. But I'm purposefully cleaning my bike like this so that everybody else who has a drivetrain which doesn't have a quick link in there, you can learn how to maintain your bicycle correctly. So the first thing I do, I've got disc brakes. I'll cover the top of my disc brake up with a microfiber towel, an old one like that, so I don't get splashback off of all the grease and the grime and stuff like that that's going to come off my chain. And what I'll do is on my 11 speed, this is an NX 11 speed by SRAM, I'll push and lock the drivetrain. Just, there's a button over here, and lock my drivetrain forward like that, so I've got full access to the jockey wheels on the bicycle. What I'll do is then grab my bike cut citrus degreaser and I will then spray it all over the drivetrain. So I'm just going to lightly spray that over the drivetrain like that. I want to just get a fair bit on there. Now I use the degreaser to obviously start acting on the chain and the cassette. I'll spray some all along there as well. Some on the chain ring. That's not a big issue. I normally start from here, just under my bucket over there. Some on the jockey wheels. a bit on the derailleur. This stuff smells great, by the way. It smells like lemonade almost. Okay, now I'll leave that to sit for a couple of minutes, and then what I'll do is I will also spray, I'll then bang some of this muck off on there, and then I'll start scrubbing. Here's a quick tip that I normally do with my bicycles. So when you've got it in the stand, you want all the grime and the muck off of your chain to fall into the pan which you have below there. Now when you backpedal on the bicycle, your wheel sometimes actually moves backwards as well. So what I'll do is, I've got a little Velcro strap which I strap onto one of the spokes here, and the wheel doesn't move now. So as I'm backpedaling on through the drivetrain, the wheel actually stays in the same position, and all the dirt and the fluids run straight down into that pan below there, and you don't mess up your flat, and you won't get in trouble with your partner. So now that this has been sitting for a few minutes, I'm going to hit this up with my muck off. I'm going to start obviously with the cassette. As you can see, that's going into the bucket. Well, most of it is. Okay. And then what you want to do is take your brush. Now you can use different types of brushes. I normally recommend to customers that they use a brush from a dustpan. I've got an upholstery brush which has a similar length bristle on there, which does exactly the same job. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start attacking it and giving it a scrub. So make sure that it gets in between all the gears like that. Obviously this is a little bit difficult to do one-handed, so once I've been doing it, I'm just giving you a small example of that now. I'm gonna fast forward and give this drivetrain a scrub, or the cassette at the back anyway, and then I will show you how to scrub the chain whilst it's on the bicycle. So as you can see, what I'm doing is I'm actually scrubbing the drivetrain, and you can see the chain is actually rolling on the cassette. Now that's a good thing, because we can actually target the chain and cassette at the same time. So once you've actually gone through your whole chain and cassette, you'll actually start to see your chain getting nice and bright and shiny. So on here, I give these a light scrub as well on the jockey wheels. This is where you pick up a lot of your dirt on your drivetrain. So like I said, if you are regularly maintaining this, so every fortnight going through this drivetrain, you'll actually find that there won't be that much dirt on here, but you want to try and get as much of that off as possible. So you can see there's like pieces breaking off of this jockey wheel here at the top. This is, like I said, this is where most of the dirt starts collecting. If you have a look at the bottom here as well, it would be the same. So you give that a good scrub like that. Make sure you break off all the pieces of dirt that's built up on there. There you go. And that's relatively clean. Now if you have a look at the actual drivetrain over here, you can actually see from it being black, you can see all the teeth are actually going silver on there now, and that's because I basically scrubbed most of the dirt off of it. And that's what you want to see. You want to start seeing your drivetrain looking like this. So now once you've given your drivetrain a good clean, I've removed the my strap for my locking my wheel in place. I'll remove the other microfiber towel from the disc because we no longer need that. Now I'm doing it as a cleaning process where you don't actually have access to a hose pipe. Ideally what you'd want to do is actually hose your whole drivetrain down afterwards. But obviously, like I said, I don't have access to that at the moment. So now what I'll do is I'll take an old microfiber towel, which is a pretty tatty one here that I've got, and I'll actually start pedaling forwards and cleaning all the excess dirt off of my chain. As you can see, that's starting to take a lot of the dirt off of there. I'll run this through a few times, just like this, and you can actually see straight away your cassette and your chain starting to get a hell of a lot cleaner. There'll be less and less dirt. You can see there's a patch there. I'll just run that through as well. Less and less dirt on your actual drivetrain itself. So just run that through a few times like that. You can obviously, like I said, repeat putting the muck off on your drivetrain if you want to get it absolutely sparkling clean. But this is your interim maintenance on your bicycle, which I do, like I said, I do fortnightly. So I think that's good enough. You've taken the excess water off your drivetrain's looking nice and sparkly now. Now we are going to get onto the lubrication part. So the next step is obviously the lubrication. Now my preference for lubrication is muck off. In the summertime I use ceramic or dry lube. The ones that I particularly use is normally ceramic lubes, obviously because I've got higher end bikes. You want to maintain good performance on your chain. So the ceramic lubes are a little bit more expensive than standard lubes, but the really cool thing is that they actually have a UV light that comes with every bottle of lube. Now I'll quickly show you how to lubricate your chain. So when we lubricate the chain, we don't want to put an excessive amount of lube on there. So what we want to do is, obviously on the e-bike I've got a ratchet mechanism. You should be able to backpedal, but make sure your lube goes on the chain like that. You want to run it around. Now obviously when you use degreaser, you're going to take a lot of the good lube out of your chain. Make sure you put a liberal amount on there. Okay, should be good enough. Now the good thing is with ceramic lube is that because of the UV light that actually comes with it, you can actually check where you've put your lube on there. So if I shine a light on there, you should be able to see it glow greenish, in a greenish sort of color. You can actually check if you've missed any spots on your chain in terms of the lubrication on there, but it looks like I got that pretty good. Now that the chain's lubricated properly, there is I do like to put a dab of lubricant on each of the jockey wheels at the points here. So I'll put my clutch on my derailleur. If you have a clutch derailleur, obviously on this model I do. I'll put a dab of lube on there, not too much. The same on this side and there, just so that the jockey wheels are spinning freely. Normally what I'll tell customers to do is go make yourself a cup of tea at this point. You want the lubricant to soak into the actual links on the chain itself. You're not trying to lubricate your cassette, and you're not trying to lubricate the outside of your chain either. You're trying to lubricate the links in between. that's what actually keeps your chain running nice and quietly. So what I'll do after I've lubricated it, so this has been a few minutes now, I'll take my microfiber towel, and not hard, but I'll push it ever so gently and run it around on one side like that, and then on the top side. You can see there's a bit of dirt coming out, but that's the dirt pushing out in between the links, and you are all sorted. So you've got a freshly lubricated chain, your shifting should be so much better, your chain should run quietly, and you won't get any of that buzzing sounds from a stiff chain when you're pedaling along. So that's an easy way to maintain your chain and your cassette. Now you can go into depth by removing your chain and cassette and giving it a deep clean, but this is your interim maintenance in between that. So if you do this on a regular basis, like I said, every 2 weeks that I do on my bicycle, you prolong the life of your chain, you won't go through your cassettes as quickly, and you'll have a quieter running drivetrain. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and like my video, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.